I wanted to talk about the game BLAM Machine Head. Yes, it's in all caps with an exclamation point after it. While I was also on Sega Saturn, I played it on the PS1. I think I was like 11 years old. Yeah, I think. It's a long while. It's a long time ago. But I think I was 11 years old when I played this. Honestly, the main good thing I can really say about this game is the music. The music is absolutely... And granted, it's a pretty short soundtrack. Honestly, it just got like 9 songs that are about like 3 or 4 minutes long. You can find them on YouTube pretty easily. But each of them's... I really like the music. But the game itself can be a bit difficult. It can be it's beneficial to have a good sense of direction. I don't know, it's classified as a first-person shooter, but you're actually in a small vehicle and going around a large area with these miniguns. You know, the giant, rotating machine guns. But a lot of the environment is not very well varied. It's it's an apocalypse world where everything's sort of been taken over by nanomachines that look like human flesh. So everything kind of just looks like human flesh, lava, spiders and stuff. So everything's kind of shades of brown and red, which it's not the most pretty landscapes or anything, but it definitely has a unique vibe. That being said, I don't know, how do you describe the game, honestly? If we're not going to mince words, it's like what? Twisted. You guys remember the game Twisted Metal, the thing with the clown? Now imagine that, but for like people with Alzheimer's. Or like Mario Kart, but for people that like forgot that it's about a race and you just like want to drive over the mountain and just drive in a circle for a while occasionally running in fear of a giant spider while you shoot it with a machine gun. I don't know. Maybe that description's offensive. I don't care. How about this? I'll think of a less offensive way to describe it, an accurate way, and I'll put that in the title. So I'll think of something. Whatever it is, I mean, it's you guys are in the future, so whatever's in the title is whatever I thought of. But it's just, the main good thing I would say about this game is it's got a really good soundtrack. But it's a first-person game where you're kind of first-person shooter and you're traveling around pretty decent speed, but I can't say it's really... You don't really get that sensation speed. Heck, you guys, you know what? You remember back on the Xbox 360, there was Need for Speed Most Wanted. And technically, I know they made a few versions of the game that were Most Wanted, but I think the one on Xbox 360 was the best. It was actually I really liked that racing game. Now, granted, you can find games of a similar title that all say Most Wanted in it, but it's not the same game. Because I remember seeing a Need for Speed Most Wanted on Steam, but I looked at it and it's a different game. It's not the same game. So I don't know if like the old one just doesn't exist anymore. Heck, there's stuff nowadays as far as like where like old ROMs and emulators are being deleted off the internet. And I'm like, that's bullshit. Like what kind of fucking message is that sending? Like if the modern 2024, 2025 with all this amazing technology we have, what are we saying, that you can't make a game nowadays that'll compete with like... And yeah, I understand the graphics and stuff is better nowadays, but I still like to be able to go back and play the older video games, even if it was kind of crap. Like, I'll be honest, this one is kind of crap, but I still consider this a game I would suggest as a must-play for people. That it's still an interesting experience, but overall the game is kind of crap. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The game is kind of crap. The best thing I could say about it is just the music. The music's awesome. The music's not crap. But, and like I said, the game's not terrible. It's just, it's definitely not a good game. Okay? It's definitely not a good game. But I would still consider it a must-play experience for anyone who considers themselves a gamer. That it would definitely be a... You'd still have a very interesting time. It's a crap game. Like I said, it's a crap game. But I still think everyone out there who considers themselves a gamer would find it very interesting to play this. Then again, I'm 37 years old. And I think I was like 11 years old when I played this. Because I think I got it around the time it came out. So... yeah, I mean, I still enjoyed playing it. Though the levels are a bit repetitive and it is a bit difficult in that you have to have a good sense of direction. And you need to be able to like remember where you're going to get through a level. And yeah, the story is a bit like honestly, I'm pretty sure I was cringing even back then. And even nowadays, looking back at that story, especially rewatching the intro, because sometimes I'll go back and rewatch intros of old video games, and I'm like, oh, it really is cringe. I'm like, oh my god, I'm just like. But at the same time, if they ever like, if they're like, oh, you know, play people to play at modern times. Let's be clear, I wouldn't want anything changed or edited. You know, I would want the game to stay the same. Yes, it's cringy as fuck, but I don't want that to get changed. Same way if like if a game's got like 20 different jokes in it that are considered like offensive to some people, I don't want the joke changed. I want it to stay the way it was. We don't need to be changing, you know, historical records, even though you're talking about video games. Well, to me, it is kind of history. I mean, heck, do you have any idea how many absolutely amazing stories there were in just Final Fantasy or other RPGs? Heck, there's a ton of JRPGs that are absolutely incredible games. But I wouldn't want the stories to be changed. Just because, you know, okay, times are different and some people disagree with some aspects of the story or what was considered normal in the story. Like, no, fuck that. I want the story as is. It's kind of like if you have stories from like Greek myths and shit from thousands of years ago. I wouldn't want people to go back and change that shit to try to make it more family friendly or, I don't know, not racist or some shit. You know, I want the story to be as is. Heck, even if it is some sort of like offensive stereotype or some joke. One, it's from thousands of years ago. Everyone involved is dead. But also, more importantly, shouldn't you actually know what was normal for back then? You know, what people were actually like? I mean, regardless of what history was, I would want the truth. I would want to know how people actually talked and what was normal. And yeah, I understand a lot of times in like Greek myths and shit, it's like dramatizations like fucking Shakespeare. But same thing, take Shakespeare. I wouldn't, like, obviously maybe change a little bit of the wording so I can understand what's being said, because like Old English is a little bit like there's words that we don't even use nowadays. But at the same time, I wouldn't want fucking Shakespeare changed into like fucking Gen Z speak. Like, we better not like have brain rot fucking Shakespeare. Like, no, that's like I don't want fucking Shakespeare. Like, I don't want like Hamlet and Macbeth and Romeo and Juliet having words like, you know, no cap, on God, bus in Ohio, shit like that. Like, or just like, and Romeo rizzed Juliet. Like, no. Just fuck no. Like, I don't want stuff to be changed to make it not offensive if there's some, like, thing that part of society back then that people would have some issue with now. Like, I don't want to change history. Like, I want to actually know how people actually talk to each other. Now, obviously, if it's like a story from, like, I don't know, Germany or Russia or... I'm trying to think of... Let me know in the comments, what's a country you guys think of that has a language that is not your first language? And keep in mind, your first language may not be English like me. I'm just going from my perspective as someone who's spoken English as, you know, my main language. As someone who struggles to try to understand anything else. I'm trying to learn German, okay? I'm trying. Says, and everyone's like, you've been procrastinating, have you? Like, I've been busy. Okay, I'll get back to trying to look at the Verrückt song, okay? I'll start trying to get back to the karaoke in German with ice pressure. I do enjoy listening to Rammstein. I'm just saying. Trying to, like, I'm just saying, like, if there was, like, Latin, okay? Like, if there's an old story in Latin, I would want relatively how they talk to each other in terms of mannerisms as what would be considered normal. But, of course, it's going to have to be in English. So I know what the fuck anyone is saying. But if let's talk about, like, Romeo and Juliet type stuff, you know... Yeah, you use the type of wording that Shakespeare would use, just in a way that's easier to understand, because some of the Old English is a bit difficult to understand. But at the same time, I don't want it to be like replacing it with like Gen Z brain rot bullshit. Like, it better not be like, and Macbeth salt skibbity toilet. Like, no. No. But I'm just saying... I enjoy reading, I enjoy stories, I enjoy anime. Heck, there's so many amazing animes from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I really miss watching some of them because some of them you can't even find anymore. And you can remember them, but you can't find them anywhere. But it's just, I would just say if they are available for people to see and, you know, current year, I wouldn't want anything to be changed. It's kind of like the same thing, like if you're like have an anime that's in Japanese and you dub it in English. I think it's cool to be able to, like, I like hearing the original Japanese voice acting, but I also like being able to hear it in my own language. It's just, it's nice, but the question is which is better. The answer is I like both. It's like asking me, do I want food or water? I need both. Same thing with anime. I like Overlord. I like being able to watch it in English, and I like being able to watch in Japanese subtitles. Now, is it more comfortable just to watch in my own language? Yes, because then I can just focus more on the pictures and actually watching it. But it's cool to hear the original voice acting. But at the same time, if like someone did like German voice acting for it, or voice acting in other, like, have you guys seen the dubs of like Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, but in like Japanese? Like, have you seen Duel of Fates with Anakin and Obi-Wan, but in fucking Japanese? Or some of the dubs in like of Dragon Ball Z in German? Like, even if you're like listening to something where you don't understand a fucking thing they're saying, it's, especially if it's something where you already have heard it like 100 times in English. And of course, it depends on the voice actors. Because I've heard people do voice acting of stuff where they phoned it in, they didn't give a shit. Or I've seen people like I said, the Japanese version of where they dubbed over Anakin, you know, Christian Hayden Christensen. I still think it'd be interesting if like he did a like remake of Spaceballs, but with him as Darth Helmet. Don't get me wrong, I still like the original, and I would still want the original to be available. Hey, you guys remember Liam Neeson or Niels? Not the guy who played Qui-Gon. Um, the guy from Naked Gun and Airplane. He did a lot of comedy stuff. Is he still alive? Does he still go by Shirley? I don't remember what we're talking about. I mean, I see a picture of BLAM Machine Head over here. I don't know. I forget what I was talking about. Voice acting? What if you had VTubers do a sort of joke dub of Overlord? Who would be Albedo? Shia Lily? What about Shoutier? Gura? What about Momonga? Or Demiurge? I don't know. Just saying, I like both dub and I like sub. You know, I like the both voices. Heck, take music. In Dragon Ball Z, you have the original Japanese music, and you have multiple music from different animation studios, including Bruce Faulconer's. Bruce Faulconer's stuff is like the best, but I still like all the others. Heck, same way with dubs. Like, you have the original Japanese dialogue, voice acting, then you have English, but you have multiple different studios that did it. And it's interesting here, like, you know, I'm just really spaced out. Like, I was talking about something, and then I don't remember. But yeah, BLAM Machine Head, it's... You guys ever watch the 1997 movie The Odyssey? It stars Armand Assante. It is made in 1997. But yeah, The Odyssey. It's a 3-hour-long movie. It's actually available on YouTube. And it tells like the story of the Odyssey. It's a very long epic poem. It's basically a light novel. It's basically an anime light novel that was written 3,000 years ago by a dude named Homer. But he also wrote stuff like the Iliad and stuff like that. But yeah, stars Odysseus. It's 3 hours long, but it's probably like the second best movie ever made. Everyone's like, what's the first? It's like, I don't know. Everyone's like, can we have more movie suggestions? Sure. The Broly movie of DBZ from back in like, I don't know, whenever the original Broly movie came out. I remember when it came on VHS. I still have it on VHS tape. Pantera plays the song Tens during Broly's transformation. That's a good movie. I actually like Batman vs. Superman. I thought it was a good movie. And everyone's like, oh, it's so, you know, stupid, the Martha thing. Like, no, that makes sense. You know, the idea is that, you know, Batman's not viewing Superman as a person. Everyone's like, but isn't that a common sense thing? Yeah, but the idea is that it has a very big significance for people. At the same time, people tend to lose track of stuff and get too focused on other things. It was just about them seeing sort of humanity in each other, and I liked the movie. You guys ever watch Schindler's List? Hey, I got to talk about the other Liam Nielsen. There's two people with very similar names, but they're both good actors. Now I'm imagining if you swapped each of them in each other's roles. Like you had the guy from like Naked Gun Airplane, but do all of the other guys' roles. You know what? You know Aizen from Bleach? He has the exact same personality as Ted Bear from Cyanide and Happiness. I think they might actually be the same person. They actually sound like the same voice too. Like each of their voices, like Aizen's voice in Bleach sounds like Ted Bear. So not only does it sound like the same voice, but it's the same personality. Do you guys ever see that picture of like Vegeta standing in the rain when he's thinking about how to become an Ascended Saiyan? You know, surpass Super Saiyan? You ever see a picture of Kermit the Frog sitting in a bathtub? I don't remember what we're talking about, guys. We're talking about BLAM Machine Head and stuff, and I don't know. Just it's a video game. It has good music. Overall, the game's kind of crap, but I still say it's a must-play game for anyone who considers themselves a gamer. I'll say it's an interesting experience, and the story is extremely cringy, but I would never want to change a damn thing about it, because I think it is a nice little time capsule of just, heck, same way like Gex Enter the Gecko, like some of the like jokes in that game. Oh, it's so fucking cringe, but it's perfect the way it is. Okay, I'm gonna probably end this. I guess it's like 22 minutes. Like the whole point of these, like I'm gonna make videos where I suggest anime and video games, but I'm gonna make it really short. Like I'm gonna try to keep it under 30 seconds, and the idea is like it's gonna be comically short. Like, hi, here's this game. You do stuff. It's fun. Look at a tree. This one boss looks silly. And then the end. Instead, it's whatever the fuck this is. You know what? I could also like do other things. Like what? What if I suggested other YouTubers, even people that are like retired or possibly dead? Because some of the YouTubers I don't know they're still alive. Like Ultra J Man and Rom Scout. They were cool. But really, I don't know what that video would be. I'd like, hi, I'm Lunar. I watch YouTube. I enjoy Let's Plays. I remember watching a dude called Ultra J-Man play I Wanna Be the Guy and Battle Kid and Bonesaw. He also did a cooperative playthrough of a game called How to Be a Complete Bastard, where it was just him and Rob Scout just talking shit to each other and just chilling like they're just two buddies just having a drink together and just talking shit about a stupid video game, which is what they're doing. And it was hilarious. And they both seemed like they actually enjoyed themselves too. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if either of those guys are still alive. They might be dead. You guys remember the old Mario ROM hacks from like before Mario Wii or Mario Maker even existed? There were so many fucking emulators. Remember Kaizo Mario shit? That was Freelance Astronauts. Did stuff like Worms and Mario Wii and Prototype and Mass Effect and some Zelda stuff. I don't know. You guys remember early Markiplier? I mean, Markiplier is still hilarious, but it was interesting first coming across Markiplier in the past. Like, obviously, Markiplier still puts out videos that are hilarious and really awesome to enjoy. But it was like, can you guys remember the first Markiplier video that you ever came across? Like, do you remember the first time you ever saw a Markiplier video? Like, do you remember what your first one was? Do you remember the first VTuber you ever saw? Or if you have a favorite VTuber, like if you watch a bunch of them and you have a favorite one, whoever your favorite one is, can you remember the first time you heard of them? The first time you watched a video of theirs? First time you caught a stream? I don't know. I don't know if that's something people remember or not. Everyone's like, this is a terrible game review. I'm like, it's not technically a review. It's just me saying, hey, it's a game I'm suggesting to you because I think it's good. And even then, like everyone's like, you said you're suggesting games that are good, but you said this game's crap. Yeah, it is. This game is crap, but I still consider it a must play. Look, I'm in the video. Bye.